Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. All right, everyone, I gotta take off my sweater for this because it's cool now, but as soon as I start filming, it starts warming up where I'm sitting, so we're just gonna go bare-armed for now. We might as well enjoy it while we can. Wow, it feels good to be filming a recommendations video, especially because we're doing one of my absolute favorites, which is, of course, Touch Her and Be Unalived, or Touch Her and I'll End You vibes, which everyone just loves. I've definitely made these types of videos before. Previous ones I will link up there. But we're going to get right into it because we have some beautiful ones to share. I have some pretty special editions of some of these books. We have some books that I think I need to remind people that I've read as well, because I had someone put one of these books in my book rec form and I was like, oh, does this person not know that this book used to be my whole personality for a little while? I think we got to remind people. So here we are with it. All right. So here we are. I called this one, I think, I Will End You Heroes, or Touch Her and Die vibes, because I don't know what YouTube is allowing us to say these days. I don't know what's going to happen, but there we go. So we're just gonna work through this. Hold on. I should have had the books closer to me before I started, but that's how it went. So one of the first ones that I wanted to share was one that I just recently read, and that was Nero by SJ Tilley. And this one connected with me in some ways, and it like kind of missed for me in other ways, but I know a lot of people are really loving it, so I'm still enjoying putting it on book rec videos, even if it isn't like perfect for me. That's something that I wanted to do. So the reason why it connected with me is that this is like a local story, even though it's like mafia. It takes place in Minneapolis, and then they actually make a trip to Fargo in this book, which I loved, even though it's a mafia romance. But in this one, we have Peyton, who she had run away from home when she was young. She's just barely making it through life. And she wakes up one night to a man who has climbed into her second-story balcony and is hiding from the cops. And he's like, you shouldn't leave your door open. And she's like, I was on the second floor. I thought it was safe. And this man is obviously very dangerous, but he doesn't kill her. He leaves her. And in fact, he like steals her shampoo and then leaves like money behind for it, or her body wash, because he likes how she smells. He turns into full on stalker mode, and I'm here for it. Okay, like it's a vibe. Okay, Nero is the vibe. Okay. So then he finds out where she works and he just keeps following her. He can't help it. And they're both so drawn to each other, but like we know it could go very badly. Like it could go very badly for her to be sucked into his world. And so he's very torn about it all. But he just can't help himself. He can't help himself because he wants her. So there you go. This was great. I'm very much looking forward to continuing this series. I'm kind of waiting for the audiobook for King because I loved the audiobook for this one. And so I'm kind of holding out for that. But I know that Dom just came out, book 3, and people are loving that. So I'm sure it continues. All right, then I would be remiss if I didn't pull up a series that this year has just given me all of the happiness. It's just given me all the happiness, and that is the Dark Heart series by Jagger Cole. Okay, every single one of these heroes is in this vibe, all the way starting with Deviant Hearts, which this romance is, I think this one is Aries, and there's a lot of names in here. Neve and Aries, yeah. And so this is an alliance between the Greek and the Irish. Yeah, the Greek and the Irish mafias. This one starts with an arranged marriage in the beginning. And these two are just like at each other the whole way, but it's such a great push and pull relationship. Then there's Vicious Hearts, which this one I absolutely adored. This is Killian and Una, and she's the daughter of his enemy, and she's sent to try to kill him. And so when he is in the middle of taking her virginity, she stabs him with a knife, and he just has to find this woman. He says it's because he needs revenge for what she did to him, which would be fair, but really it's because he's so intrigued by this woman who had the lady balls to try to murder him at a sex club. So there's that. It was delightful. Then we have Sinful Hearts, and this one is between the mafia lawyer Elsa, and I think this one's one of the Irish or no, this one's Hades. This one's Hades, so one of the Greeks. And this one is a hate to love. Again, like she's working for the family. He's a client. She shouldn't get involved with him, but she can't help herself. She just can't help herself. It's beautiful. I love it so much. So yeah, that one was crazy. Then there's Twisted Hearts, and this one is between Gavin, who's from kind of sort of an enemy mafia, but they've made this kind of loose truce together. And then there is Eilish, who is one of the Irish daughters, and she gets herself in a bit of a pickle where he has some leverage over her head, and boy, does he use that leverage to his advantage. And then we have Stolen Hearts, and this one is between Castle and Callie, and he was like a bodyguard slash like older brother character to her brother's sister's older brother type thing. I don't know what it is. I can't even remember it. This one was okay. It was my least favorite in the series, but he still definitely has the vibes, and that's what we're here for. All right, now we have one that I'm extremely excited to show off. Even though it's a book I've showed 100 times before, I am so happy to have this beautiful copy of this book. So this is Always Practice Safe Hex. This is book 4 in the Stay a Spell series, and yes, I finally got my gorgeous hardcovers. You maybe know this book better as Always Practice Safe Hex. Yes, this is lovely. But this one has our first Grimm in the series that we read. So this one has Gareth, and he's been very much a mystery. All the Grimms have been a mystery up until this point in the story. And now that Gareth and Livy are finally interacting with each other, they end up doing a work project together kind of thing. They're trying to win a contest. And they're in close proximity. And Gareth is like, I'm going to make you mine. And Livy's like, nah, boy, no, you ain't. And I mean, he is. He's going to do it. But he's a Grimm, and so he's very possessive, especially when it becomes clear that Livy is his mate. And he's very, like, nervous about what his, you know, a Grimm has, like, an alter ego type character. And this Grimm is very possessive of Livy. And when someone tries to fuck with his girl, it's not going to go well. Okay? It's not going to go well for anybody. Oh, well, except for Livy. It's going to go very well. Because he has telekinetic like hands basically, and he can do things. So it's gonna go very well for Livy, but not for anyone who fucks with her. All right, then I had a little bit of a throwback to bring up because I've been reading this author for a while. I've been reading this author since this book actually, and I'm loving her book so much. And she hasn't written one quite as dark as this one really since this one. And I'd like her to write a little darker, but I also just love her stories, so I'm okay with them being a little bit softer. But this is Start a Fire by J. Wolf. And this was the Savage Crew series, okay? Way back when, man. Way back when. And this one has our heroine who is, wow, I forgot her name, Grace. And the hero's name is Bastion. And these two, like, he's a bit of a bully to her, but he also very much wants her. And so this one has some dubious consent / like non-consensual scenes in it because he totally is like, you're mine. This is also new adult, so it does take place in high school, which I know like doesn't work for everybody. But I really love this world because she has this series where they're in, like, I believe this one is like the public school in Savage Crew, and then there's the Savage University ones, and then we went to Savage Academy, which is a prep school. So like they all are like new adult series, but this one, Bastion and Grace kicked it all off, and I just remember being like, wow, I haven't read a hero quite like this. He has a bit more morals than say a Carter Mahoney did, but at the time when I read this one, it was the closest to a Carter Mahoney that I had gotten, and so that's why this has stayed so close with me, and I just love what J. Wolf has done with this world so much. Like the most recent release is coming out this week in this world, and it's just so precious. Like it's so good. All right, now we have the one that I had people recommending this to me. Now I know that I am not the biggest channel out there, so when bigger channels read a book, it kind of trickles down to me, and I start getting recommendations for stuff that those people are reading, which, I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the recommendations that I get. If you don't know, I have a book recommendation form that is always linked down below. It's open to everyone. Some people thought only patrons could recommend me a book. No, anyone can recommend me a book. I'm not promising to get to it, but I get a lot of suggestions from there, and they're good ones. Okay, they're good ones. And one of the things that I've been reading for almost 2 years now is fan fiction. But recently, like, I feel like fan fiction goes in waves. Like, there'll be someone new who discovers it, and then a bunch of people will try it because that person did it. And currently, there is a pretty big channel, Peace Love Books, Read Manacled, and so now it's trickling down, and people who have never tried fan fiction before are giving it a try, and that means that people are recommending them to me, and I'm like, bitch, I've read most of these. But particularly the one, of course, is Manacled. And now if we want to talk about a touch her and you die hero, no one embodies that better than Draco Malfoy in Manacled, okay? Now, there are some other fan fictions where I think this Draco also hits that level. He does. But Draco Malfoy in Manacled is the ultimate of touch her and you die. And you don't know how it fully is going to get there, because this story starts in a very dark, twisted time. It's a bit like a Handmaid's Tale. It's a bit dystopian. Voldemort has won. Draco is this character called the High Reeve. He's basically Voldemort's second hand, second in command. He's in a very prominent position, and he gets gifted Hermione because he's supposed to try to get her pregnant, because that's what's happening with mudbloods who are magical, or half-bloods who aren't at, who weren't on the right side of the war. They're being manacled so they can't use their magic, and gifted to wizarding couples who, who were part of the Death Eaters and who aren't having children. And so Draco is married, and him and his wife haven't been able to conceive, and so he gets gifted Hermione. And so every month he's supposed to try to impregnate her, and she has no memories of what happened to her before she woke up in a cell in the depths of the Hogwarts dungeons, because something has happened to her memory. So this story is told in 3 parts. It's told in the present tense, in flashbacks, and then the present again. And this is a journey that is very long and twisty and dark. And you know what? I give all props to whoever new is discovering this. I know Books with Samantha just read it as well, because this is a journey that you don't know why you're on it. And it is painful and hard to watch. And even in the end, it's painful and hard to watch. But the devotion, the soul deep need to make sure that Hermione lives it's everything. So if you love Touch Her and You Die heroes and you've not tried Manacled, which I get it, this is intimidating as hell. Okay, my bound copy, which was bound for me by Not So Average Joe, is 942 pages. Other people will say it's over 1,000. It all depends on how it's bound. The word count is what most fan fictions go by. And the word count of this bitch is 370,000 words. So go by that. Go by that. Lots of different sources will tell you different pages. Some say it's 1,200. Some say it's whatever. It just depends. But this story is amazing. The podfic is available on Spotify. You can listen to the whole thing if you'd like to. But I highly recommend you give it a go. And I'm glad that there's other romance channels talking about it too. And, you might get lucky and fall into a pit of fan fiction after that. It's a happy pit to be inside. Well, sometimes it's a sad pit, but sometimes it's happy. Okay. Another book I want to recommend, because the next one in the series is coming very, very soon. So, what the hell? Okay. So, I am recommending Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. This was the first book in Time River. This is my hardcover. Look, it has this beneath it. So pretty. This is book 1 in Time River. This is a small town. I can't remember where Time River is. Are we in Montana? I can't remember where we're at. But this one is a jaded single dad and a woman returning to her small town roots, and his daughter, his ward, needs a riding instructor. And so Paisley Day gets hired to do that, but they get off on the wrong foot because he actually meets her before they have their interview, and she gets off on the wrong foot with him, and he's a total jackass about it, of course, but his daughter loves her, and so he's like, fine, I'll give her a chance. So yeah, and then there is also some suspense elements. There is a past that gets brought up that is pretty intense to see, but very quickly our hero becomes addicted to her and just wants her so much. And so yeah, it's amazing. Oh, I just love how her books look, y'all. This one's so pretty. Like, look at the inside of this. But anyway, I love this. The audiobook is fantastic. I have already listened to the ALC of book 2, and that one's amazing as well. That one's a single mom, so highly recommend that. Then there is Soul of a Witch by Harley LaRue. This one has a feral golden retriever of a demon whose name is Callum. And then we have Everly, who actually is from like an enemy family in this world. But we find out a lot more about her. Of course, this one focuses on her. I do recommend you read this series in order, which I know will be tough because not a lot of people like the first book. Which I don't even remember the name of the first one. A Soul to Keep, A Soul to Take, whatever that one is hit or miss for a lot of people, which I understand. I really liked it. It's a lot of camp. It has Buffy vibes. It's a little bit goofy. And the heroine is very much like Dick focused for a demon, right? Demon Dick, we appreciate it. So for some people, they just roll with it and love it. And for some people are like, what is this vibe? I'm not feeling it, you know? But I liked it, but the series got even better for me. And what's cool in this one is that, again, Everly is from the enemy family that we've seen in this series that are doing bad things. They are summoning demons. They're providing sacrifices because they get power for doing them. Like, it's not great. It's not great look, y'all. It's not good. But Everly has been forced into this in some very dark ways that we aren't aware of fully until this book. And so we actually see a lot of the events of the first 2 books now from Everly's point of view and realize how much she was struggling with everything that was happening to her. So it just was really good to see that, and then to see where she ends up. But Callum, he has been waiting in this like haunted house for Everly to show up, and he's been waiting for her for thousands of years. And I won't spoil how that is or what's going on, but he knows that she's his witch and that they're fated to be together before Everly even has a clue. And he's just been waiting. And so as soon as he can get his hands on his witch, she's his, and he will burn heaven and earth to keep his witch. And I love that. This one is hefty. This one's almost 600 pages, y'all. I get it, but I loved this. I could not put this book down. I read it basically in one sitting, and I loved Everly. I loved her so much by the end of this. It just made me so happy. So I love that one a lot. Okay, then we have a contemporary again here, and this one is Twisted Lies by Anna Wong. So this is actually the last book in her Twisted series. I'm sure people have seen the Twisted series all over the place, you know? It's all over the place. But this one definitely had the Touch Her and You Die vibes for sure. This one is Stella and Christian, and Christian is this like deadly, smart, charming monster dressed in a 3-piece suit, it says, or in well-tailored suits. And so he has little use for his morals or for love, but he becomes attracted to Stella, and he goes about kind of quietly but firmly like helping make her dreams come true, as well as like helping her with things. And they end up in like a forced proximity situation. I believe there was some like fake dating in this one too. But yeah, the tagline of this one says it all. It's like, he'll do anything to have her, including lie. And he's very possessive, and just, this was a good one. I love Anna Wong's books. Her heroes are all possessive and delightful. I just love it. I'm here for it. And then the last one I want to recommend is another one that I've had people suggest to me recently. And again, this is no shade to anyone, but I just want to reiterate again that I have read every Pam Godwin novel except for her 1, 2, 3 series, which has a like love triangle in it. I'm not interested in that trilogy, but I've read every other book that she's written, including her cowboy series, which begins with Knotted. This is my Fabled Company edition, which, by the way, okay, I don't talk about this all the time, but Mercari actually has like 3 of these copies of this book that are only like $25 right now. Okay, so if you're seeing how pretty this is, and you normally are like, I'm not going to check out Mercari, it's a ripoff, which it is a lot of times. It can be. But there are 3 separate copies of this gorgeous edition. Like, look at this. That are under $30 right now. So I highly recommend. But anyway, Knotted is the first book in the, what's the series called? Is it Tangled? What's the series called? It just went out of my head. Oh, shucks. They don't have it listed. It is called the... Oh, why wouldn't you fucking write it down? Trails of Sin. Jeez. The Trails of Sin series. So this one is a second chance romance. These 2, they're beautiful. It's Connor and... It's been a long time, sorry. Connor and Jake. Connor and Jake. And they had, I mean, it is a male and woman, by the way. I think Connor's a girl and Jake is a guy, yeah. And they had a very traumatic experience when they were young where they were going to make love for the first time. And they were getting a bit kinky when they did it. And their kink was turned on them violently when, after she had been tied up, they were attacked. And our hero was brutalized and she was raped right in front of him. It was horrible. And they never were the same after that. They couldn't go back to who they were before. And so they separated and they were apart from each other for a long time. And now they're both back in the same town and they have a second chance. And our hero, he's never let go of the heroin, even though he felt like it was best for her if he did, that he should. He also has become very interested in BDSM and in being in control. And he doesn't think that he could ever ask her to do that after the trauma that she had. But of course, you know, he could maybe ask her if she was into it. Would be good. So I just wanted to bring this series up. I love the whole thing. Of course, the cowboy era has been going pretty wild lately, right? It's been on its high note, which is fantastic. I'm here for it. But this is dark cowboys, and we could always use some more of that, for sure. All right, there you go. Those are my recommendations for Touch Her and Die heroes. Let me know some of your favorites. Again, I've already made a couple of these videos, so check out what I have linked up above. And yeah, if you're interested in supporting this channel through Patreon or channel memberships, I always have links down below for that. I am fully fan funded and supported, so anything you can do helps out. Even just liking this video and sharing it with someone you think needs some Touch Her and Die heroes. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching, friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.